Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy wasn't just the handsome killer. He was one of the most dangerous predators in U.S. history, a man with two faces: charming, intelligent, polite in public, but a cold, calculated kidnapper, rapist, and murderer behind closed doors. From 1974 to 1978, Bundy murdered at least 30 women nationwide, though the true number may be much higher. Besides rape and murder, he kept victims' heads as trophies and even engaged in necrophilia. In 1975, police stopped his suspicious car and found handcuffs, rope, a ski mask, and other killing tools. Bundy escaped from custody twice. After the second escape, he committed a brutal attack at Florida State University's Chi Omega House, killing 2 students and severely injuring others. He was recaptured in 1978. His 1979 trial, the first televised murder trial in U.S. history, showed him dramatically representing himself, but he couldn't escape conviction. On January 24, 1989, Bundy was strapped into the electric chair. His confidence vanished, eyes wide, lips trembling. When the switch flipped, 2,300 volts surged through him. His body jerked violently, eyes bulged, and the smell of burning flesh filled the room. Outside, crowds cheered. At 7:16 a.m., he was declared dead. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't just the cannibal. He was one of the most disturbing and obsessive killers in U.S. history. Every step was coldly planned, luring victims home, drugging them, killing them, dismembering the bodies, photographing each stage, and keeping remains as trophies. He didn't kill out of anger. He killed out of loneliness, control, and the fear of being abandoned. His apartment 213 became one of the most horrifying crime scenes police had ever seen. From 1978 to 1991, at least 17 young men vanished after meeting Dahmer. Inside his apartment, police found dismembered bodies, skulls, bones, and even human flesh stored in the fridge. On July 22, 1991, one victim escaped and alerted police, leading to Dahmer's arrest. In 1992, he received 16 life sentences. Dahmer didn't deny anything. He calmly confessed to every detail and admitted he deserved death. In prison, he showed remorse and even sought redemption through religion, something that ultimately led to his death. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was cleaning a prison area with inmates Christopher Scarver and Jesse Anderson. No guards, no supervision. Scarver grabbed a metal bar and attacked. Dahmer didn't run or beg. Witnesses said he even smiled before Scarver struck. His skull was shattered, and he was pronounced dead 20 minutes later. Some argued the prison was responsible, but most people in Milwaukee felt relief. The nightmare is finally over. Jack the Ripper. More than 130 years ago in London's Whitechapel district, an unknown killer spread fear through the fog-covered streets. He became known as Jack the Ripper, the first serial murderer to terrify the entire world. Unlike Bundy, Gacy, Jack the Ripper was never caught. No one knows his real name, his job, or whether he even had a family. All humanity knows are the mutilated bodies he left behind. He targeted women working as prostitutes, usually alone at night. Witnesses described him as polite and soft-spoken, which helped him approach victims easily. From August to November 1888, at least 5 women were brutally murdered. All were impoverished sex workers. The Ripper killed with alarming precision, leading police to believe he had medical training or worked as a butcher, cutting throats in seconds, opening the abdomen, removing organs. Some victims were sliced from stomach to neck. Others were found missing kidneys, hearts, or the uterus. After the final murder in 1888, Jack the Ripper abruptly vanished. No confession, no new bodies, no trace. He arrived like a nightmare and disappeared like a shadow. This disappearance created countless theories about his fate. Theory 1: he was killed or committed suicide. Some historians believe the Ripper may have been killed in Whitechapel's violent pubs or ended his own life due to mental illness. Hospitals at the time recorded several unidentified men committing suicide shortly after the murders stopped. Theory 2: he was locked in an asylum. Many prime suspects of the era later disappeared from public records because they were institutionalized. If the Ripper was among them, he may have died quietly in a damp, forgotten asylum room. Theory 3: he was arrested for another crime and died in prison. London then was chaotic: fighting, robbery, drunken violence, murder. The Ripper could have been jailed for some unrelated offense and died behind bars, with no one realizing he was England's most infamous killer. Theory 4: he left London and continued killing elsewhere. European and American police archives from that era contain cases with strikingly similar mutilations. Investigators have long wondered, did Jack the Ripper continue killing under a new name? If so, he may have died far from London, anonymous and unrecognized as the monster who once haunted Whitechapel. John Wayne Gacy. America once had a serial killer who dressed as a clown to lure in his victims. Creepy enough already, right? That man was Wayne Gacy, the monster who murdered 33 young men and turned the crawl space under his house into a hidden graveyard. Between 1972 and 1978, dozens of teenage boys and young men disappeared in Illinois after encountering Gacy. In December 1978, police investigating the disappearance of a 15-year-old boy searched Gacy's home and discovered human bones under the crawl space. Ultimately, 29 bodies were found beneath his house, and 4 more were dumped in a river. Even after arrest, Gacy stayed arrogant, denying everything, suing police, claiming he was framed, and even selling paintings of his clown persona, Pogo. He never confessed, never apologized, never showed remorse. In 1980, he was sentenced to death. On May 10, 1994, Gacy ate his final meal, 12 pieces of KFC, fries, Coke, and strawberries. Asked if he wanted to pray, he refused. During the lethal injection, a malfunction caused the process to drag on for 18 minutes. His body convulsed, breathing faltered, skin turned pale, and he broke out in hives. His last words, "Kiss my ass." He was declared dead at 9:12 a.m. Outside, crowds celebrated with signs like, "Gacy must die," and "Rot in hell, clown, Albert Fish." When mentioning the most sick killers in history, we can't skip Albert Fish, the man dubbed America's boogeyman. He didn't just kill people, but also ate victims' flesh and sent boastful letters to their families. He often tortured himself with needles, even inserting dozens of needles into his body. Fish targeted children, innocent kids easily lured by him. The most horrific case was in 1928, when Fish kidnapped little Grace Budd. He tricked the family into thinking he would take the girl to a party, but then killed and ate the victim. Worse, Fish sent a detailed letter to the girl's parents, describing how he cooked and ate Grace. The letter was the evidence that trapped Fish. Police traced the envelope and found him in New York. When arrested, he showed no fear, even admitting to killing dozens of children, but couldn't remember the exact number. In 1935, Albert Fish was put on trial. Throughout the proceedings, he appeared calm, even bragging about his sick pleasures. Fish was sentenced to death at Sing Sing prison. His final meal was simple: an orange, an apple, and water. He said he had no regrets and was curious to feel electricity in his body. On January 16, 1936, he calmly sat in the electric chair. The first shock didn't kill him because of his frail body, so guards had to run the current twice. After 8 minutes, he was pronounced dead. Newspapers called him the boogeyman of America, but even his death couldn't erase the horror he caused. Andrei Chikatilo. In the 20th century, the Soviet Union was shaken by one of the most notorious serial killers, Andrei Chikatilo. He was called the Butcher of Rostov, the one who took the lives of over 50 victims using unbelievably savage methods. From 1978 to 1990, Chikatilo killed at least 52 people, mainly women and children. At that time, investigations were limited by bureaucratic machinery. For many years, police couldn't find the perpetrator, even arresting innocent people. In 1990, after a victim's body was found near a train station, police decided to monitor the area. They discovered Chikatilo acting suspiciously with a little girl. When arrested, he had bloodstains and bite marks on him. Further investigation, DNA, and witness testimony confirmed he was indeed the Butcher of Rostov. In 1992, Chikatilo was put on trial. He calmly described each case with horrifying details, making the entire courtroom shudder. He was sentenced to death. In court, he screamed, "I'm not a monster," but no one believed him. In prison, he became paranoid, shouting at night and claiming demons watched him. Execution was set for February 14, 1994. The Soviet method was simple: 1 bullet to the back of the head. That morning, he resisted, yelling, "I'm sick, not a criminal!" But guards ignored him. He was tied to a wooden chair, head down, and the executioner fired. He died instantly. No drama, just silence. Investigators felt relieved. No one mourned him. To this day, Chikatilo remains a dark reminder to the Russian public that real monsters can look ordinary.